Welcome. This is the second part of a conversation I had with Art Carden, professor of economics at Sanford University. I think it was a fantastic conversation. You're going to enjoy it. Please like and subscribe this video to receive more content from me when it drops. And let's jump back into the conversation. The first book that I read of yours was Leave Me Alone, I'll Make You Rich. And then just recently, a few months ago, Strangers with Candy, which just a fantastic title.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
What was the inspiration for that title, and how does it relate to what, sounds like a topic, sounds like a childish title in a way, but I actually think it has a really deep meaning.
So this was actually inspired by a kid's birthday party. So I have 3 kids, and they inspire me a lot of the ways that I think about the world, and a lot of the things that I look at. But I was at this birthday party and thinking about how, the 2 things our parents told us, never take candy from strangers, never get in a car with a stranger. And yet, here's this table scattered with all of these Snickers bars and Kit Kat bars and Hershey bars and whatnot.
Yeah.
I was like, these are made by strangers. I don't know the people who run these companies. I don't know the people who work on the assembly line or run the little wrapping machines and whatnot. I don't know any of the people who are involved in this. Here I am taking candy from a stranger, or a candy made by an army of strangers who I will never meet and who may not even like me that much if they ever met me. But yeah, they're willing to serve me. They're willing to see that we have a really good birthday party.
Yeah.
Because we're making it worth their while. We're by buying the candy, we're making it possible for them to have an income and them to feed, clothe, shelter their families and the people they care about. I thought, wow, this is really incredible. So free markets via brand names in particular make it easy for us to take candy from strangers. Or in a little bit I'm going to take a lift to the airport. I'm going to get in a car with a stranger. And that stranger is going to drive me to Harrisburg, and we're almost to the point now where I would have no problem putting one of my kids in a car with a stranger driving for Uber or Lyft. Or there was I think there was an article in the Wall Street Journal yesterday or a couple of days ago about something that's like that. I think it's a company called Mom Taxi.
Okay.
And it's moms who will drive other people's kids around if they need
to.
And it's
fantastic.
It's incredible that I remember in Jurassic Park where the Jeff Goldblum character talks about how life finds a way. It's look, business finds a way, commerce finds a way, profit finds a way, and we're able to cooperate with armies of strangers around the world. And I think it's marvelous.
Yeah, and the book is it's a great book. There's lots of good insights. Mm-hmm. One thing. Different books for different purposes.
Yeah.
That's a fantastic book if you might have a disjointed schedule, because it's in short, digestible segments. You could read 5 minutes on if you are taking a bus or a subway into work, or if you have Actually, I don't think it's on Audible yet, is it?
No, not on Audible yet. It is on Kindle. And the Kindle version, I think, is $5.
Yeah.
In fact, actually, great deal. If you go to strangerswithcandybook.com and use the code Candyman, you get, I think it's a 10% discount. So,
awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And we'll, if typing that's too hard, we'll put the link in the description for everybody watching, so you could just go through and click that right away as well.
Yeah.
So,
and I think the Kindle version, I said was $5. So
I liked during the talk yesterday one point that I liked. I mean, you always hear Adam Smith's quote about the invisible hand leading to prosperity, and it's not because people are benevolent that they're giving you these services. And many have said over time that, well, this just seems like it's an excuse to be greedy.
Right.
But really, it's an excuse to say that you do not have to be greedy in order to have other individuals, basically trust them as strangers to give you candy or to give you a ride.
Right. Well, I think when we think about the context in which Smith is writing, so you have this very entrenched social hierarchy, which still exists to a certain amount, or to a certain extent. And it's one in which, the king, because he was the king, got what he wanted whenever he wanted it. Yeah. The rest of us, to get what we wanted, required us to give somebody else what they wanted. And I think there's one of the things in the passage in Wealth of Nations about the butcher, the brewer, and the baker, where he says it's not from their benevolence,
correct,
but from from their regard to their own interest. And it's important to remember here. So Smith doesn't say self-interest; he says own interest. And your own interest can be whatever you want it to be. My own interest again includes my kids.
Of course.
You can be as selfless as possible and still be pursuing your own interest. Just whatever you happen to find important. The really important and I think profound ethical assumption embedded in what Smith is doing there is the notion that other people are not our property. They're not means to our ends. Yeah. As I said last night, and as I've said in a bunch of different contexts, when one of my kids was like 3, if they come into the kitchen and say, "Hey, I'm hungry," you can say, "Okay, I will feed you," or "The pantry's over there," or "Dinner's in an hour," or something like that. You take care of them, and their appeal to what they need is decisive. Yeah. For a grown adult to stomp into a Starbucks or stomp into a Chick-fil-A or something like that and demand to be fed is really quite rude. And Smith argues that for a world of functional adults, the way to get what we want and the right way to get what we want is to give other people what they want, to advance their interests so that they advance ours.
Yeah, it's kind of a flip of the way of thinking about. It's not a negative interpretation. They're giving you this, but you're giving them something in return that's valuable. Yeah. It's the classic story of why sometimes when you buy something, they'll say thank you, and you'll also say thank you
yes.
because both sides are like, hey, this is a great deal for me, and the other person thought it was a great deal for them.
Well, here's I guess a good example. So I teach at a very Baptist university, and not long ago we helped build a mosque. Not because of any sort of deliberate, intentional thing that the university did, but because we took a group of students and a speaker out to a halal restaurant. Where people, the people owning the restaurant, the people who ran the grocery store attached to it, were strict adherents to Islamic dietary law and dietary customs. We got what we wanted, which was delicious food, and they got what they wanted, which is money, presumably to help sort of support and build their local mosque. Yeah. We took care of them; they took care of us. And even though there's a very, very sharp doctrinal and religious division, we're still able to cooperate to mutual advantage. Yeah. And given my own sort of religious proclivities, I doubt that I'd ever just flat out give money to build a mosque or something like that. But indirectly, we do that and we take care of each other. Yeah. Through markets and through exchange.
No, it's a fantastic way to think about the value of markets to society and the way markets help to make the world a better place. Yeah. And that maybe not everybody thinks about markets that way. I think those of us who love free markets, we do think of it that way, but it's a wonderful message for those who might not. So for those who are watching, highly recommend both books. Both are fantastic. Yeah, naturally. Any other kind of closing words to the audience about either book or anything else you'd like to share?
So there's another book in the works and on the horizon. So Caleb Fuller at Grove City College and I have a book we're writing called Mere Economics. And it is due to the publisher at the end of January. So that should be slated for publication in April of 2025. So that's sort of the next step. If you have any suggestions for what you would like to see in a book titled Mere Economics, I'd be more than happy to
entertain them. Yeah, so this will go out before your deadline. Mm-hmm. But then some people, if you're watching this after in 2025, the book should be out. We're recording this in October 23. Yep. Well, super. Well, thank you for taking time to talk today. Thank you. Once again, thinking about the exchanges here. Thank you for coming and working with our students.
Oh, sure. It was been a blast.
It was fantastic. I know they loved it. I loved it as well. Selfishly, I enjoyed hearing you talk too. But
thank you,
and thank you for the audience. If you like this content, please like and subscribe. It would help out the channel, which of course helps me out. And we'll see you in the next video.